This segment is sponsored by Legacy Retirement Group.
And welcome back. Well, the Supreme Court recently overturned a federal ban on sports gambling, meaning we could soon see legalized gambling on a state-by-state basis. But one organization thinks the move could be detrimental to baby boomers in particular. Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group are here to explain. They are financial advisors. You see them on our show, and they are hosts of a weekly retirement radio show called Winning Retirement. And Greg has also written a book called Winning Retirement and contributes to several financial publications. So you guys know it all, basically. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Good to be here.
So the AARP warns that older Americans are the fastest growing segment of gambling addicts, but could that spell trouble for baby boomers in retirement?
Yeah, you know, well, there's that old adage, if you've got time, you know, you've got time to get in trouble. And so, you know, I think what happens is that people retire and often don't have a plan as to what they're going to do for fulfillment. And, you know, gambling just happens to be one of those entertainment things that baby boomers enjoy, and so that is an area that sometimes can get in trouble. We don't see it too much with our clientele, but there's many that like to go have a little fun with a couple dollars.
Is the option of thinking like, hey, I could double my retirement if I can bet on the right sports team?
You know, I think it's more of a social thing, really. You know, they like to get out, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So for most people watching us right now who maybe don't have a gambling problem, you say that's not a huge problem with a lot of your clients, but are there other things that can make their nest eggs vulnerable?
Well, there's a couple of things that come to mind, Alicia, and that's that one is, since the market's been doing so well recently, we start adding more and more stocks to our portfolio. So we've kind of stuck our neck out just a little bit with the amount of risk we're willing to take, thinking, you know, I don't want to miss out on possible returns. So that fear of missing out is one gamble that we take. And then also putting aside taxes till later. And right now we're in a pretty low tax environment. And so now we're gambling that tax rates won't go up in the future. So those are a couple of gambles, taking too much stock market risk or gambling that taxes won't go up in the future. That could get us.
So what are the things that we can do to protect our nest egg in these types of scenarios?
Well, like we always mention, preparing 5 to 10 years out from retirement and understanding what your risk level is at that point and what your tolerance is, and moving forward into those couple years pre-retirement, understanding that you don't have as much time to make up for those big losses that you might have been able to take when you're 30s or 40s or even 50s. So really getting that honed in and understanding where you're at and seeing what you can afford to risk as far as your retirement goes.
And really reassessing that risk tolerance, because you might have been on the track where you're like, oh, I've got tons of time, but maybe not necessarily.
Yes, because we want to set it up to be efficient. Efficient meaning that we get a greater return than the risk we're taking, and efficient with taxes so that hopefully we can get to a place where we don't pay tax on our Social Security benefits.
Is there any other advice you have for older viewers who are watching us right now so they don't gamble away their retirement?
Well, now's a good time towards the end of the summer. We're kind of getting into July now to really look over what you have and where you're at and start assessing that so that you can see and fill out what you're comfortable with and maybe make a few changes if they're necessary.
And you guys help them with that, right? You can like look over what they have and kind of determine what the next step should be. So tell us about the offer you have right now.
Well, we want to do a complete analysis, Elisa. We want people to understand what their risk level is versus the return they have right now, and how efficient they can become with taxes. Should they start transitioning from those deferred 401ks and IRAs over to Roths, and be prepared.
And you guys can give them the great advice. So thank you so much for being here with us today. And you can always give Legacy Retirement a call. That number is on your screen. It's 614-336-7660, or visit their website, legacyretirementgroup.com. Thank you so much for being here.